Hey guys, with the girls subdistricts out and available to the public, we are going to break down the C1, C2, D1, and D2 girls subdistricts. We're kind of just going to take a run through and look at some teams that we got in the hub territory, talk about some potential matchups, and some teams that could possibly make it to state. So with that, we're going to start with, of course, the big headliner in C1. It's Minden, it's Kearney Catholic, it's at Kearney High. There's a lot of storylines there. Nathan, this definitely should be a good one.
Yeah, it should. Two of the best teams in Class C1 are 25 minutes apart from each other. They'll finally get a chance to play each other. They didn't show up on the regular season schedule, and the odds are they're going to end up in that sub-district final. Kearney Catholic has a game against Centura. Centura has a good record, but Kearney Catholic just beat them by over 20 points. So we're going to see most likely the Stars and Kearney Catholic. Should be a fun one. Minden is loaded. Kearney Catholic, it's their depth. So there's the difference between maybe some star-heavy team with Minden, and then Kearney Catholic has depth.
Right.
Can the depth do anything to stop Minden? We'll see, but it is definitely a headliner in Class C1.
And the interesting thing about this game, too, is the fact that it might not even mean that much. Everybody's going to, the hype is going to be there for a game like this, but it really could have no implications. That's a wild card system.
Yeah, about the only thing at stake is the number one seed in the state tournament.
Right.
Both of these teams are headed to state. They'll probably be on opposite sides of the bracket. So this is really a tune-up, a practice game for what could be a state final rematch.
And players don't think like that. Players are still going to give it their all. They don't think about wild card points or anything like that. So it's going to make for a really good spectator showdown. If you're in town and want to see some good basketball, I'm sure that's going to be a good place. A very hot ticket, especially in the tiny KHS gym. That'll be a tough seat to get. In C2, we're going to look at Ravenna. Ravenna, a team all year that has been there, been hovering in that top 10 in the wild card. Ravenna's got a nice draw in that sub-district. Going to have to get through a good Ord team, a team that has proven itself this year. But Ravenna has just been a dynamic team, a team with some depth. We talk about how important depth is in the postseason. Amy Johnson, Kaylin Bassnett, Sydney Kuchera. A few girls that are capable of taking over a game offensively and defensively. They got a little bit of a tough draw, though, in that district final. They're going to have to get through, get this, they're going to have to get through, oh, man, I would not want to have to get through Dundee County Stratton. That is a tough matchup, obviously. A 20-2 team. Ravenna would definitely have its work cut out. But, they want to make it back there. Noah Malsby talks about how the senior proven team has kind of made those strides to be able to get back to that state level. They're looking to get back to their first state appearance in 5 years, so definitely going to be a few things to look at if Ravenna can make that run.
Kind of similar teams with Dundee County Stratton. Both have some depth, but they don't have the stars maybe, but the depth to handle or make a run. So I think it would honestly be a pretty good matchup between Ravenna and Dundee County. Would make for a great district final game.
And you got a chance to see Dundee County Stratton
in the RPAC final, yeah.
Yeah. So in D1, we're going to look at Kearney Catholic is hosting, but that is just all FKC. You got Axtell and Amherst in that bunny game. That's a really good bunny game, by the way.
Probably the best in our area.
Yeah, that'll definitely be a good one. A couple teams that are over 500 playing really well. There's definitely some good playmakers with Sydney Taubenheim, with Laura Lundy and Hannah Kring. So the bunny game is definitely no slouch in that bracket. And then you got Overton. You got Overton and Elm Creek facing off, or Overton not necessarily facing off with Elm Creek yet, but Overton and Elm Creek would face the winner of that first game, the bunny game, and then Elm Creek would face Wilcox-Hildreth.
I think the real wild card here is Wilcox-Hildreth. They're a really much improved team from the past couple of seasons. That they're not the established commodity, but they've had a couple trip ups in the past couple of weeks. But I don't think that people may look elsewhere for who is the favorite. But I think Wilcox-Hildreth, they have the talent, they have the seniors. Just this week they had Overton down 10 at their own place. They have the capability to run off two wins in the sub-district and even a win in the district final to make it to state. Can they do that? We'll see. But they're kind of an inexperienced team playing competitive games.
Right.
But they have the capability to do that. Obviously, and Overton's a good team. They're getting better. Elm Creek is also a team that's improving. Mackenzie Deo, the freshman, really coming on strong.
Yeah.
Any of these teams, it's going to be tough. The district final could be Arapahoe, so it's going to be tough for. And none of these teams quite have the wild card points to qualify already.
Right.
So a lot of teams are going to get knocked out that are good teams and that won't have a chance to make it to state.
And it's tough to look at a team that just won a conference title by 28 points in the final and say, how are they not the perennial favorite? Because Overton is really coming on strong, having a really nice second half of the season because of the support they're getting outside Kinsey Enix. So Overton could be in line for a state run. They would like to be, of course, but definitely a very tough district to get through. And then in D2, we have Loomis and Elwood playing in that bunny game. We have Bertrand will take on the Loomis-Elwood winner, and then SEM will take on Eustis Farnham. That's a little bit of a tough draw to what's the word I'm looking for? To really evaluate, because the top two teams there are so evenly matched, and Bertrand and Eustis Farnham, they're actually separated in the wild card points by like 0.2 of a point or something like that, but very much a toss-up for that top spot in that sub-district. It's kind of tough to look at who the favorite really is. Bertrand has had a schedule full of D1 opponents, as has Eustis Farnham so far, and we talk all the time about the Johnson sisters for Eustis Farnham. Of course, two of the best players, maybe even in D2, and they're going to need to play huge if they want to get potentially to a district final. The tough thing about getting to that district final for Eustis Farnham could be if they were to run into a really, really good team. Blanking on who that is right now. Because SEM could also get there. Definitely, SEM could provide definitely a problem for Eustis Farnham. And Bertrand, obviously, no slouch. We don't want to necessarily slight them or say that they're not worthy of getting there. But this Eustis Farnham team is looking to get to that next level. They only have one state appearance in school history. That was 20 years ago. They would love to get back there. It's just going to be a very tough draw to see if they can get back to that point. Because I think they're going to have Giltner, if I'm not mistaken. Giltner will be that team standing in their way. I don't know. It's really such a crapshoot right now in D2. There are a lot of teams that could emerge, especially in that bracket alone. If Bertrand's going to do it, I think Brittany Shipp would be really important for them to get to that next level. Bertrand has kind of had struggles with stringing offense together from game to game, but if they're able to do it, I think they definitely have the talent. It's just going to be a matter of whether or not they can get past a couple of good teams.
We've got 5 or 6, maybe up to 10 really talented teams that could make state. Some of them are going to knock each other out. So we're looking at 3 to 5 teams in the area, having a chance to make the state.
Yeah, and this is only C1 through D2. Keep in mind, we have still Class A action. We're going to talk Kearney High. We'll talk Holdridge, of course, in Class B. Lexington also in Class B. But Holdridge is definitely a team that is looking to get back to state again. They're repeatedly there every season. Kearney High could be on that horizon, given the fact that they have had a really strong second half to their season. So we have plenty of stuff yet ahead to discuss. We're going to have boys sub-districts to talk about next week. We're going to talk about all that stuff probably in Sports Hub. We're just talking, guys. That's what we do. It's the video thing. It's fun. We enjoy it. That kicks off Monday. That is hard to believe. Monday, February 17th is when those bunny games start. Definitely going to want to get out and check some of those out. Should have some good sub-district finals as well. It's postseason time. We love it.
Get your popcorn ready.
Get your popcorn ready, as the great T.O. once said. So this isn't the Sports Hub, but for Connor O'Gara and Nathan Hart, thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.